Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Molly and I really wanted to do an in conversation, so we met in Paris to have a chat and decided that our chat in Paris was probably quite interesting, hopefully. So we thought we would, I'd bring to you some of the things that we were chatting about, which I discovered about Molly, which is a lot of common ground. I guess the first thing that I loved was that you, like myself, are a born and bred Londoner. There's not many of us left, so it was quite interesting. And what part of London did you grow up in?
West London.
And I'm south,
You're
so
south.
Big divide on the west and south side of things. But we had a shared love and interest in markets and Portobello Market.
Yeah.
Your mum used to take you there when you were a little girl because you lived nearby?
Yeah, I don't know when we would have gone because I guess I went to school, but
Sometimes.
I guess in the holidays, you go to Friday market or on Saturday market and just be kind of very, I don't know, I remember being excited to, there were certain people that you'd see either like market stall holders or just friends of my parents who you'd see, and I remember kind of dressing up to hope to impress them or like hope that they were interested in what I was wearing because I was interested in what they were wearing.
And I did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I was taken to Portobello Market when I was about 8, and suddenly I felt like there was a whole world opening up to me, and that suddenly I knew where my calling was.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work on the market stalls with the girls, I wanted to rummage in the clothes.
Yeah.
And then when I got older, I saw so many fashion designers down there. I know we were talking about,
Yeah.
you'd see so many
Well, now on a
people.
Friday when you go, you see like, spot everyone.
Are they all still going?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Who was the last person you spotted down there?
Oh, I don't know actually. Or maybe I lied. Maybe I don't see them. But this pistol holders always tell me who's been there before me.
So when you were
can't
getting
think
dressed up to go down there, were you trying to impress your mum's friends? Your mum's very creative as well, and you were just loving that whole creative, immersive scene that I think is very unique to London.
Yeah, because I think I guess everyone on the market was very individual in the way they dressed, and there were people who were designers who would do market stalls there, and and I still go to Portobello as often as I can. I think because the Friday market has so many amazing vintage. Friday's amazing for vintage, and you get there's a woman who sells only kind of traditional Dutch clothing, which I love, and you can talk to her and she tells you all about it. I have friends who have market stalls there who I go and see every week, and they save things for me that they know I'll be interested in.
So they all know your aesthetic now?
Well, I don't know. I don't push it like that, but I guess just from growing up there, you build certain relationships.
And about your clothes and their aesthetic, it's very, very particular. And we talked a lot about smocking and your pleating and your ruffles. And where did those ideas come from? Because that was interesting when you told me. About your little girls.
Yeah, well, I guess it kind of started on my BA course, which was when I wanted to just for my final collection, I wanted to remake all of my the clothes that I had as a baby in human grown-up size. So I blew up the dresses on a photocopier and then traced off the pattern. No, I traced off the patterns, then blew those up kind of, I don't know what 200%, 300%, to a massive scale.
So then the ruffles and everything.
So then everything just became enormous, and a hem became 50 meters rather than 50 centimeters. It kind of just became enormous. So that's where it started, and I don't know, I think I've just always been obsessed with those things. I think things that have taken so much time and care and love to make, which I guess is what we're meant to be talking about, craft, isn't it? Which we're not really talking about. But those are the things that really excite me, because you just think why on earth did you make them? I don't know, not why on earth did you make them, but that love and attention to detail is something that I think I really value.
But there is a craft element to, we also had a common love in creating our own clothes, whether we were cutting up our own clothes and stitching them back together to go out into the nightlife in London when I was growing up and when you were growing up.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, wasn't it?
And what I loved is that you still sometimes do that on a Friday night.
Less so now, but I have done for a long time. Every Friday would be find a fabric that I had, makes. I do still do actually. Sometimes in the studio, I'll whack something together or like, yeah.
Love that.
And
to go out and have a good time in.
Yeah. And I used to make it to the point where it was so late that you had no choice and you had nothing else to wear, so you had to wear what you'd made. Because
did anything fall apart?
No, nothing fell apart, but just it was never. I never finished anything. It was just like a crazy coloured, like a really good jersey print that you'd make into a big stretch dress, and it was always stuff to dance in, I suppose.
Yeah, which was the other thing that I think that you're really, really good at, and why this makes so much sense, because a lot of the time fashion designers create these wonderful, garments that look incredible on a catwalk, but it's very, very difficult in real life to wear it. And I think because you end up doing a lot of that yourself and wanting to go out and dance in it, you commercialise what we see on the runway so well into really easy wearable pieces, just like what you've got on today, which actually a lot of people really struggle to do. But you kind of start off with this big, big idea and then shrink it down into what can I go out and have a good time in?
Yeah. Some things still end up a bit big. I still have dresses that I can't, and I've started, when I do my order for the season, I am paring it back a bit, because I end up with, I've got a wardrobe full of dresses that I can't wear every day, because they get, you get on the tube and you look.
But that's what's great, because when we do the buy
you just take up too much space.
We suddenly see all these racks
dress.
of things, and we're like, yeah, we can have that in gingham, we can have that in cottons, and we can, there's a skirt, and don't underestimate that a lot of people find that really, really difficult to commercialise a vision that you can wear every day. So I think the way that you're making clothes and then putting in your own personal order and imagining how you're going to wear it, and you embody the brand, is why the brand will be successful, because it's something that you love, and women can wear it of all ages as well.
Yeah, I guess it's that you take one idea and you take it to the two extremes to some extent. So will have one little idea, like whether it's brown, frilly cotton, and then you make the biggest dress I can possibly physically make, and then pare it down to something that is kind of still keeping the maximalist feeling, I suppose, but as small as you can, like something you can walk around in day to day.
So you did your BA, was it at Central St Martin's?
Yes.
And did you find it easy going in there? Did you know you wanted to do fashion? Because I think you're just generally very creative, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yes. I think I just always knew I wanted to make clothes, and I did go on a bit of a mission to get onto the MA and work with Louise Wilson. Be taught by Louise Wilson. So I did have a bit of a plan, which I don't know where that drive came from, but I knew I wanted to do foundation, and I knew I wanted to do a BA, and then hopefully get on the MA. And then the MA was a bit of a disaster, but
why was it a disaster?
No, it was fine. It was just I just don't think I was ready for it. I don't think I knew what I was doing, and I was trying to impress too much, and I just forgot what I was interested in and good at, I suppose.
And did you want a brand?
No, I didn't.
Which I find fascinating as well.
I don't think it was very cool to want your own brand. I don't think that kind of was particularly encouraged. I think, especially with Louise, you were encouraged to... Well, not encouraged. I think some people probably did, and they didn't say about it, but I guess no one shouted about it. I think I wanted a job. And even when I did... I wanted a job. And I think I remember kind of Louise would get you jobs in place. Whoever was really good, she'd get you a job in.
Did you work anywhere good?
No, I didn't get.
Oh, did you not?
No, I went straight. Well, we did internships in my BA, which was good. I did John Galliano and Madame Kirchhoff, which was fun. But the MA, it wasn't really. I didn't remember feeling like it was about having your.
How was it working with John?
It was good. He wasn't there much because he was doing Dior, and it was just before he got booted out or whatever happened. But it was amazing. It was really fun, very creative. I did knitwear, so I just made loads of weird knit samples, and he used to send me to the flea markets to buy various things.
Did he give you a list of things to buy?
Yeah, but really impossible things like gilt frame for the show. There was the show I worked on. All the models had these props, and I bought a few of the props, and it was quite impossible.
So they walked down the catwalk holding
frames and umbrellas and rolls of carpet and all things like that. Yeah.
So did he influence you at all? Did any working in these places influence you, or?
Well, John Galliano was my dream yeah, well, Dior or Galliano was my dream.
So when you didn't get a job at Dior.
What, the internship?
No, after, because you said you didn't get a job after.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get a job because it all just started, which was very strange.
How did it start after that? When you did the runway show, what happens after that?
What, the MA one?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that because I failed part of it. So then I just was out. You have to pass.
I love that. I'm sorry, Mum.
No, you have to pass all these various projects, and if you kind of fail one, you kind of fail a few of them, and it's quite complicated actually. I left for a year and then I went back, and then it got even worse. So then I was definitely out. And then me and my boyfriend decided to do a presentation, like a party basically, and make some clothes. But it wasn't it was more for me to get a job. I thought it would be like mean I had some proof of like what I'd been doing for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Because at that time I had nothing. I'd probably binned everything. So so we had a party and made dresses for all my friends, and then shops bought it. So that was it. So then it started. So
Well
very,
done.
very strange.
Well done. I think
Very
it's really
lucky.
good for people to know that even without you wanting to have a brand or even completing the course, that you've got this amazing business now. And the other kind of landmark, I suppose, when I was watching it at home, sitting on the sofa, was Killing Eve. And when the character comes out wearing a Molly Goddard dress, even I was on the sofa going, oh my God, she's got a Molly Goddard dress on, it's so cool. Was that a good moment for you?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I didn't know what to expect because we sold the costume designer the dress about maybe 2 years before.
God. You could have been
came
selling
out.
it to anything.
Well, we did know a bit. We knew about Phoebe Waller-Bridge and we knew about certain things that she'd done, but I don't think I'd seen anything. I don't know. We get lots of requests, and you kind of have to like gauge. And they bought the dress off us, and I think we probably needed money, so it was fine. And then, but then I was quite nervous when it came out. I refused to watch it at first because I just thought it could be terrible. And the dress was on every poster everywhere, all over America, but it was the perfect thing. And just
did your phone then ring off the hook after that?
No. Well, no, it never rings. I would say like
someone else is
almost up until now, we've had like something in the press every day. Like because we get a press report and they send through every single thing anything's been mentioned, and there's always something on Killing Eve. So I think it's really interesting, and just interesting that for me it was interesting because it was the first time I kind of realised that people not in fashion maybe not knew, but could recognise that it was something that we'd made. Thought that was interesting. When my friend's dad said, kind of, seen your dress on the telly, and you'd never expect them to know that. Yeah, it was nice.
So everything has been really organic for you as well, which I think is quite unusual, but I think it's also because you embody the brand, you live it, and that it works when you're organic and when you really love something.
Yeah.
Because people would want that kind of press every day. And they'd want, all of that, and it's hard to maintain it. But I think you're gonna be absolutely fine. This new collection is gorgeous. I wanted to wear this dress, but I'm glad I didn't because otherwise we would look like the two mannequins. Is this one of the best collections you think you've done?
Oh, I don't know. I always
or the last one with the big pink dress.
I don't know. Everyone is different. I don't know. That's a very hard question.
Is it?
Yeah. I always just think the next one will be better.
Are you very critical?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's hard. Because it is very hard to make things. It's hard to make a collection that, something that no one's ever seen before. People are really excited about. Hopefully, some people hate. Some people love. Like something that's got kind of something about it, and then also make clothes that your everyday person really loves and really wants to wear and really wants to spend that money on. And
all the smocking and all these little details that I really, really love.
Yes.
How easy is it for you?
It's not easy.
I know. How did you find somebody to do all the smocking?
I just feel very sorry for my production manager because
she yourself, weren't you, in that first studio I saw you in?
We used to do it all in the studio, and now we've trained up a factory to do it.
You trained up a factory?
Yeah, and we have lots of contracts with them telling them they're not allowed to tell anyone how we do it. But like your dress has something like 100 meters of this black trim.
Really?
Which I didn't, I just think, I'm just like, put it on. And then when you think about what that is, it's like thousands and thousands. And when you add up, that scale starts to become quite hard. Before it was easier when you're only making 10 dresses, but now when you're making a few more, it's...
Well, you're keeping factories in business.
Well, I don't know. They want to get rid of us. They can't be bothered. It's too time-consuming. So yeah, trying to find the right balance is where I'm at now.
Yeah, and growing.
Keeping the details, but not killing everyone I work for, making them. I mean, who works with me, having impossible job.
And also, you work really closely with your mum, don't you? You've got a lot of good women around you.
The beautiful set.
And she does all your fashion shows.
Yeah, didn't do the last one, but has done all the other ones. Very hands-on, and we have a good working relationship. We kind of don't need to communicate too much.
You've got a lot of family in the business, or you had your boyfriend. I know he's not there at the moment, but your mum, and if you've got your sister.
Yeah, my sister Alice is a stylist, and she does all the shows.
So it's lovely to know you've got people you can trust looking
I
after
think
what
that's
you're doing.
what helps keep it kind of hopefully quite down to earth. I don't know.
Yeah, you are very down to earth. You're lovely to talk to. Is there any questions that people would like to ask Molly? No?
I have a question for Molly.
Yeah.
Now that you've done the costumes and that you had an appearance in Killing Eve, is that something you'd like to do more of, like film or theatre? Because your sets are so sort of theatrical in a way.
Probably no is the answer, actually. I liked Killing Eve because I think it was the perfect kind of... it was a very good demonstration, I suppose, of what I feel about the dresses I make, in that they aren't, although they're pink and frilly and whatnot, they can be very tough. So that was a really kind of refreshing thing to see, that someone got that very explicitly.
Serial killer.
Serial killer. But I mean, I think I'd like to do a ballet, but I think otherwise costume I'd kind of steer quite clear of.
Ballet would be lovely.
Ballet would be good, yeah.
Nice. Any others?
Thank you.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh.
Yeah. Where do you get your inspiration from, and how do you go from an idea all the way to the finished product?
Well, inspiration. I've started the next collection, so I am at the moment spending days out of the studio, going to the library, and I just pull out millions of books, and I just look through and photocopy anything that interests me, not ever looking for anything in particular. Maybe a certain designer, or maybe a certain... I don't really make an effort to look for anything in particular.
I love that you go to the library.
Oh yeah, I only go to the library.
Is there a favourite library?
LCF or LCF probably. I go to CSM as well, but...
And do you go through the fashion books, or just any books that you've...
They have all the magazines, so I go through old... yesterday, I looked at loads of old Vogue Italias. I looked at loads of old Sonia Raquel books. I look at
a certain era? Could be, I'm trying to
it
find out.
always varies.
Yeah.
Or and then I look at photography books. I like to not only look at fashion things, and definitely nothing within the last probably 20 years.
Yeah.
Avoid looking at. And just in general, out and about. And then I guess all those images kind of come together and start to form a bit of a story that makes sense to me, but not really anyone else. And then from there, just choose fabrics and kind of carry on researching and bringing out old bits of research that you found in the beginning. And that's it, I suppose. And an idea of a person and what that show would be, and what they'd be and what they'd be doing, what they'd be drinking, a very vague idea of who that might be for each season is one part of it as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's almost the end customer as well, I think.
Yeah, and it's not one person. I mean, it's an idea of
Yeah.
I don't know, it's very hard to explain. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I wanted to ask you how you strike a balance between keeping your very individual look and creating clothes that are commercial and need to sell.
Yeah. I guess, well, I think I just think about what I want to wear, and like what my mum wants to wear, what my friend might want to wear. And then it's kind of, in a way, it's getting more, you have to be quite organised about it in terms of like what you offer for shops. So I have a range plan that's very clearly laid out as to how many kind of looks I do that are like big show dresses that cost an insane amount of money and are slightly impractical. And then you kind of narrow it down. So sometimes it might be that I only have space for like 2 cotton dresses in one collection that are wearable ones. So I just try and make the perfect dress that's in that fabric with that inspiration. It's kind of quite, what's the word?
Organic.
No, like the opposite. Like
really?
quite
Methodical?
Quite methodical, I suppose. I mean, it's organic in the design and the process, but like actually trying to break it down and separate the show looks from the, because we do the show and then we go to the showroom, and so in the showroom we have maybe like 25% more pieces which are slightly more commercial pieces. Yeah, but I just always want the battle is to always make those as fun as the other ones, I suppose.
But then when I see you, you're quite often wearing the commercial ones as well, which is what I like.
Yeah. I can't wear big ones every day because otherwise my dry cleaning bill is too high.
Any other questions?
Here. Do you think about sustainability when creating your collections? And if so, how do you embed that within your practices?
Yeah, we definitely do. It's definitely very hard. At the moment, we manufacture in the UK, which is very sustainable because we don't pay anything, we don't ship things all over the world. And all our fabrics are from the EU. Beyond that, it's quite challenging. We try and we know who we work for, and we know we work with sustainable fabrics sometimes, but not always. But yeah, it's quite hard for a small brand.
I think over time it will get easier. I think
well,
more
and
and
no
more
waste.
people-
I think
Yeah.
we make to the orders, so there's no waste ever. Like we never waste anything. We never waste fabrics that we buy. Like everything is used. But yeah, we've got a few of us are doing some sustainability courses to see what more we can do.
That's good.
Oh.
Patchwork and ruffle dresses are on their way. Any other questions?
All congrats on your design, of course. And so I would like to know, if you realize from beginning of your BA, what was your signature? What was your style? If you were searching for yourself for few years, or you were doing this style immediately?
What do you mean after the BA?
Like your first collection at the BA, was it in the same style? Did you have this signature since you started?
Yeah, it was all tulle, big smock dresses with. Yeah. So you mean what was I doing for the 2 years?
No, just I'm interested to know, if you immediately knew what was your
well, I didn't know.
life
I guess you
choice.
don't know. It's because I had no intention to be a designer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. It wasn't like you think. I thought, oh, that's my signature. I should
That's
stick
very
with
humble.
that. I think I was immediately wanted to do something different, and then I was having a terrible time, and then I needed to earn some money, and then I kind of came around to it again, and realised in hindsight that everything I should have done on my MA should have just been a development of my BA rather than trying to not reinvent, but do something totally different. Mm-hmm. So I think, yeah, I didn't realise that it was a good thing when I did it on my BA, I suppose.
But I think that's the reason why it's actually amazing, because you weren't trying to make something which is, I don't know, trendy or to push it as a brand. You were just doing something truly from your heart without no plans or something like that. I think that's really what makes you unique.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Just behind you, Danielle.
We'll just take one more at the back and then yours, and then finish after that, I think.
I know, a bit bit of meat and some ham, some wine.
Hi. My question is about social media, and I've seen that you've got an Instagram account, and just kind of wanted to know if you're active in the decision-making behind that, whether you believe in it, what your thoughts are on influencers and the power of social media, basically.
Sorry, the palm sounds quite dry. Thanks.
We ate chicken Caesar
That was a
salad
mistake.
last night.
Well, I don't love Instagram. I find it quite, I don't know, quite kind of relentless, like demand to like do things and show things, and so I'd like to not have anything to do with it, if I'm really honest. But I understand what a useful tool it is, and at the moment, it's kind of quite a team effort. Like a few people from my team do Instagram. I do some things. It's definitely like a fun way of showing people what you do, and I think I'm learning that people like to see what, like behind the scenes more than anything else. But also it's a good way of kind of showing we get such amazing editorial, which is really lucky, and being able to kind of like post that and like say thank you for that is a really nice thing about it. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay.
I was going to ask how you managed your business growth. You said you did that party and you sold a few individually. Like, how did it then expand, like finding factories?
I think that was a very organic process. We only had like 3 stockists in that first season. 3 people came to us, and we hadn't done a showroom or anything, so it was totally like a massive shock, and we were totally unprepared. My boyfriend had worked in an art gallery, so he knew a bit about sales. So, but yeah, we kind of just winged it. I don't really know how we did it. I think the first season I did all the production on my own in my mum's spare room, which was like, I think it was a solid month or 2 where I worked pretty much from 8 a.m. till midnight every night making the clothes, which was so stupid now I think about it. I should have just got someone. But, and then I think because of understanding kind of how hard that was, we then were quite careful in saying yes, or like who we said yes or no to, and just took things kind of as slowly as we could, and tried to manage that scale carefully. Yeah, and I don't know how it just. I don't know. I kind of feel stupid answering this question because I feel like I think I've just been quite lucky in that things have kind of just come at the right time. But definitely we said no to a lot of people from quite early on.
Right, and it's, you know, sometimes these things that come very easily to you, other people would find very difficult. There's a lot of common sense in just planning and sitting and working it out, and you would have done that with your boyfriend, your mum, and planned it, and it's not as easy as people think it is.
Well, and I did have I've had lots of help actually, because the New Gen was a massive support. They put you on. They then gave me space to do a presentation, which means that like you're on the schedule, and internationally people come, which maybe wouldn't otherwise. And then you develop and you do a catwalk, which is even more press and all the rest. And then like places like the CFE, Centre for Fashion Enterprise, they help with like business planning and cash flow and talk you through all those things. So those, I don't know what it would be like if I hadn't had those people, because they're kind of like just support, the people who you can talk to and pick up the phone when you're confused about something.
It's a huge part of the business, making it work, making that work, being able to commercialise what you put on the runway, and doing all of that. As you do all of that, and it's not that easy.
It's very stressful.
You're very clever. It's clever.
Paying people.
I think we'll finish there. So thank you so much to both of our speakers, Molly Goddard and Natalie Kingham. Please stay, everyone, and have a drink and eat some more food.
As it's all in front of us, let's go for it.
Thanks very much for coming.
Thank
you.